Pakistan is one of 9 states to possess nuclear weapons. Pakistan began development of nuclear weapons in January 1972 under Prime Minister Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, who delegated the program to the chairman of the Pakistan Atomic Energy Commission, PAEC, Munir Ahmad Khan, with a commitment to having the device ready by the end of 1976. Since PAEC, which consisted of over 20 laboratories and projects under reactor physicist Munir Ahmad Khan, was falling behind schedule and having considerable difficulty producing fissile material, Abdul Qadeer Khan, a metallurgist working on centrifuge enrichment for Urenco, joined the program at the behest of Bhutto administration by the end of 1974. As pointed out by Houston Wood, the most difficult step in building a nuclear weapon is the production of fissile material. As such, this work in producing fissile material as head of the Kahuta Project was pivotal to Pakistan developing the capability to detonate a nuclear bomb by the end of 1984. The Kahuta Project started under the supervision of a coordination board that oversaw the activities of KRL and PAEC. The board consisted of A G N Kazi, Secretary General, Finance, Ghulam Ishaq Khan, Secretary General, Defense, and Agha Shahi, Secretary General, Foreign Affairs, and reported directly to Bhutto. Ghulam Ishaq Khan and General Tikka Khan appointed Major General Ali Nawab as the ranking engineer on the program. Moderate uranium enrichment for the production of fissile material was achieved at KRL by April 1978. Eventually, the supervision passed to Lieutenant General Zahid Ali Akbar Khan in President General Muhammad Zia-ul-Haq's administration. Pakistan's nuclear weapons development was in response to the loss of East Pakistan in 1971's Bangladesh Liberation War. Bhutto called a meeting of senior scientists and engineers on January 20, 1972, in Multan, which came to known as Multan Meeting. Bhutto was the main architect of this program, and it was here that Bhutto orchestrated the nuclear weapons program and rallied Pakistan's academic scientists to build an atomic bomb in 3 years for national survival. At the Multan meeting, Bhutto also appointed Munir Ahmad Khan as chairman of PAEC, who, until then, had been working as director at the Nuclear Power and Reactor Division of the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, in Vienna, Austria. In December 1972, Abdus Salam led the establishment of Theoretical Physics Group, TPG, as he called scientists working at ICTP to report to Munir Ahmad Khan. This marked the beginning of Pakistan's pursuit of nuclear deterrence capability, following India's surprise nuclear test, codenamed Smiling Buddha in 1974, the first confirmed nuclear test by a nation outside the permanent 5 members of the United Nations Security Council. The goal to develop nuclear weapons received considerable impetus. Finally, on May 28, 1998, a few weeks after India's second nuclear test, Operation Shakti, Pakistan detonated 5 nuclear devices in the Ras-Ko Hills in the Chagai district, Balochistan. This operation was named Chagai by Pakistan, the underground iron-steel tunnel having been long constructed by Provincial Martial Law Administrator General Rahimuddin Khan during the 1980s. The last test of Pakistan was conducted at the Sandy Haran Desert under the codename Chagai-2, also in Balochistan, on May 30, 1998. Pakistan's fissile material production takes place at Nilore, Kahuta, and Kushab nuclear complex, where weapons-grade plutonium is refined. Pakistan thus became the 7th country in the world to successfully develop and test nuclear weapons. Although, according to a letter sent by A.Q. Khan to General Zia, the capability to detonate a nuclear bomb using highly enriched uranium as fissile material produced at KRL had been achieved by KRL in 1984. After the partition of India in 1947, India and Pakistan have been in conflict over several issues, including the disputed territory of Jammu and Kashmir. The uneasy relationships with India, Afghanistan, and the former Soviet Union explain its motivation to become a nuclear power as part of its defense and energy strategies. The Bangladesh Liberation War was a crushing defeat for Pakistan, which led to it losing roughly 56,000 square miles, 150,000 square kilometers, of territory, as well as losing more than half its population to the newly independent state of Bangladesh. In addition to the psychological setback for Pakistan, it had failed to gather any significant material support or assistance from its key allies, the United States and the People's Republic of China. Pakistan seemed to be isolated internationally, and in great danger. It felt that it could rely on no one but itself. Prime Minister Zulfikar Ali Bhutto was obsessed with India's nuclear program. At a United Nations Security Council meeting, Bhutto drew comparisons between the instrument of surrender that ended the 1971 war, and the Treaty of Versailles, which Germany was forced to sign in 1919. There, Bhutto vowed never to allow a repeat. At the Multan meeting on January 20, 1972, Bhutto stated, "What Rajuddin Siddiqui, a Pakistani, contributed for the United States during the Manhattan Project, could also be done by scientists in Pakistan, for their own people. Siddiqui was a Pakistani theoretical physicist who, in the early 1940s, worked on both the British nuclear program and the Manhattan Project. In December 1972, Dr. Abdus Salam directed a secretly coded memo to Pakistani scientists working at the International Center for Theoretical Physics, ICTP, in Italy to report to the chairman of the Pakistan Atomic Energy Commission, PAEC, Munir Ahmad Khan, informing them about the program what was to be equivalent of the US Manhattan Project. In an effort to instill a sense of pride, Salam noted that the heads of the Manhattan Engineer District were theoreticians, and informed the scientists at ICTP that a similar division was being established at PAEC. This marked the beginning of the Theoretical Physics Group, TPG. Other theoreticians at Quaid-e-Azam University would also join the TPG, then led by Salam, who had done groundbreaking work for TPG. Among them was Riazuddin, Fayazuddin, Masood Ahmad, and Fahim Hussain, who were the cornerstone of the TPG. Tedious mathematical work on fast neutron calculations, relativity, complex hydrodynamics and quantum mechanics were conducted by the TPG led by Salam until 1974, when he left Pakistan in protest, though he kept close contact with TPG. No such endeavors of the kind had taken place in the country, and computerized numerical control, CNC, and basic computing facilities were non-existent at that time, though later acquired. For this purpose, the calculations on the high-performance computing and numerical analysis were performed by Dr. Tufail Naseem, a PhD graduate in mathematics from Cambridge University, assisted by other members of Mathematics Division, the Division of Pure Mathematics at PAEC under Drive, Riazuddin Siddiqui and Asghar Qadir. About the lack of CNC facilities, Munir Ahmad Khan famously marked, "If the Americans could do it without CNC machines in the 1940s, why can't we do the same now?" With Abdus Salam departing, Munir Ahmad eventually led the TPG and assisted in the calculations. Two types of weapon design were analyzed: the gun-type fission weapon and the implosion nuclear weapon. The program turned to the more technically difficult implosion-type weapon design, contrary to the relatively simple gun-type weapon. In 1974, Abdul Qadeer Khan, a metallurgist, joined the program and pushed for the feasibility of highly enriched uranium, HEU, fissile material, and collaborated under Bashiruddin Mahmud at the PAEC, a move that irked Khan. Preliminary studies on gaseous centrifuge were already studied by PAEC in 1967 but yielded few results. Khan advanced uranium enrichment from the expertise he had from the Urenco Group in the Netherlands. Under Khan's supervision, the Kahuta Research Laboratories, KRL, was set up and engaged in clandestine efforts to obtain the necessary materials technology and electronic components for its developing uranium enrichment capabilities. The TPG succeeded in the earlier implosion-type weapon design in 1977-78, with the first cold test conducted in 1983 by Ishfaq Ahmad. The program evolved towards the boosted fission weapon designs that were eventually used in the Chagai-I tests in 1998. Enormous production was undertaken by the Pakistan Atomic Energy Commission for feasibility of weapons-grade plutonium, but parallel efforts were mounted toward weapons-grade uranium after India's test, the Smiling Buddha, in 1974. In 1983, Khan was convicted in absentia by the Court of Amsterdam for stealing centrifuge blueprints, though the conviction was overturned on a legal technicality. A nuclear proliferation ring was established by Khan through Dubai to smuggle Urenco nuclear technology to KRL after founding the ZIP method for the gas centrifuge on March 11, 1983. PAEC, led by Munir Ahmad Khan, carried out its first subcritical testing of a working nuclear device. This is also called a cold test, and was codenamed Karana-I. There were 24 more cold tests from 1983 to 94. Coordination between each site was overseen by the Directorate of Technical Development, DTD, under Dr. Zaman Sheikh, a chemical engineer, and Hafiz Qureshi, a mechanical engineer. The DTD was established by Munir Ahmad Khan in 1974 at the Metallurgical Laboratory and was tasked with development of tampers, reflective and explosive lenses, optics, and triggering mechanisms that are crucial in atomic weapons. First implosion design was built by TPG in 1977, and the DTD eventually conducted the cold test on March 11, 1983, codenamed Karana-I. Between 1983 and 1990, PAEC carried out 24 more cold tests of various nuclear weapon designs and shifted its focus towards tactical designs in 1987 that could be delivered by all Pakistan Air Force fighter aircraft. Dr. Ishrat Hussain Usmani's contribution to the nuclear energy program is also fundamental to the development of atomic energy for civilian purposes, as he, with efforts led by Salam, established PINSTEC, that subsequently developed into Pakistan's premier nuclear research institution. In addition to sending hundreds of young Pakistanis abroad for training, he laid the foundations of the Muslim world's first nuclear power reactor Khan-up, which was inaugurated by Munir Ahmad Khan in 1972. Scientists and engineers under Khan developed the nuclear capability for Pakistan within the late 1970s, and under his leadership PAEC had carried out a cold test of nuclear devices at Karana Hills, evidently made from non-weaponized plutonium. The former chairman of PAEC, Munir Khan, was credited as one of the pioneers of Pakistan's atomic bomb by a study from the London International Institute for Strategic Studies, IISS, on Pakistan's atomic bomb program. In his semi-official works of the Pakistani nuclear program history, Eating Grass, The Making of the Pakistani Bomb, Major General Feroz Hassan Khan wrote that Prince Sultan bin Abdulaziz Al Saud visits to Pakistan's atomic facility were not a proof of the agreement between the two countries. However, Feroz Hassan acknowledged in his own words that Saudi Arabia provided generous financial support to Pakistan that enabled the nuclear program to continue. A Washington-based nuclear watch think tank of Boston University has reported that Pakistan is increasing its capacity to produce plutonium at its Kushab nuclear facility. The sixth nuclear test, codename Chagai-2, on May 30, 1998, at Haran was quite a successful test of a sophisticated, compact, but powerful plutonium bomb designed to be carried by aircraft, vessels, and missiles. These are believed to be tritium-boosted weapons. Only a few grams of tritium can result in an increase of the explosive yield by 300% to 400%. Citing new satellite images of the facility, the Institute for Science and International Security, ISIS, said the imagery suggests construction of the second Kushab reactor is likely finished and that the roof beams are being placed on top of the third Kushab reactor hall. A third and a fourth reactor and ancillary buildings are observed to be under construction at the Kushab site. In an opinion published in The Hindu, former Indian Foreign Secretary Shyam Saran wrote that Pakistan's expanding nuclear capability is no longer driven solely by its oft-cited fears of India but by the paranoia about US attacks on its strategic assets. Noting recent changes in Pakistan's nuclear doctrine, Saran said the Pakistan military and civilian elite is convinced that the United States has also become a dangerous adversary, which seeks to disable, disarm or take forcible possession of Pakistan's nuclear arsenals and its status as nuclear power. As of 2014, Pakistan has been reportedly developing smaller, tactical nuclear weapons for use on the battlefield. This is consistent with earlier statements from a meeting of the National Command Authority, which directs nuclear policy and development, saying Pakistan is developing a full-spectrum deterrence capability to deter all forms of aggression. Estimates of Pakistan's stockpile of nuclear warheads vary. The most recent analysis, published in the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists in 2010, estimates that Pakistan has 70 to 90 nuclear warheads. In 2001, the US-based Natural Resources Defense Council, NRDC, estimated that Pakistan had built 24 to 48 HAU-based nuclear warheads with HAU reserves for 30 to 52 additional warheads. In 2003, the US Navy Center for Contemporary Conflict estimated that Pakistan possessed between 35 and 95 nuclear warheads, with a median of 60. In 2003, the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace estimated a stockpile of approximately 50 weapons. By contrast, in 2000, US military and intelligence sources estimated that Pakistan's nuclear arsenal may be as large as 100 warheads. In 2018, the Federation of American Scientists estimated that the arsenal was about 120 to 130 warheads. The actual size of Pakistan's nuclear stockpile is hard for experts to gauge owing to the extreme secrecy which surrounds the program in Pakistan. However, in 2007, retired Pakistan Army's Brigadier General Feroz Khan, previously second in command at the Strategic Arms Division of Pakistan's military, told a Pakistani newspaper that Pakistan had about 80 to 120 genuine warheads. Pakistan tested plutonium capability in the sixth nuclear test, codenamed Chagai-2, on May 30, 1998 at Haran Desert. According to a US congressional report, Pakistan has addressed issues of survivability in a possible nuclear conflict through second strike capability. Pakistan has been dealing with efforts to develop new weapons and at the same time, have a strategy for surviving a nuclear war. Pakistan has built hard and deeply buried storage and launch facilities to retain a second strike capability in a nuclear war. In January 2000, 2 years passed after the atomic tests, US intelligence officials stated that previous intelligence estimates overstated the capabilities of India's homegrown arsenal and understate those of Pakistan. The United States Central Command Commander, General Anthony Zinni, told the NBC that long-time assumptions, that India had an edge in the South Asian strategic balance of power, were questionable at best. Don't assume that the Pakistan's nuclear capability is inferior to the Indians, General Zinni quoted to NBC. It was confirmed that Pakistan has built Soviet-style road mobile missiles, state-of-the-art air defenses around strategic sites, and other concealment measures. In 1998, Pakistan had at least 6 secret locations, and since then it is believed Pakistan may have many more such secret sites. In 2008, the United States admitted that it did not know where all of Pakistan's nuclear sites are located. Pakistani defense officials have continued to rebuff and deflect American requests for more details about the location and security of the country's nuclear sites. We hope nuclear weapons never gets used and good sense prevail for all humanity. Hopefully one day we all can live in harmony. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, share, comment and subscribe. Thank you.